Hey, composing gloves here, and this is sort of a part 2 to that breakcore Igorrr vegetable soup thing, because I was reading the comment more closely and they were interested about the chicken clucking solo rhythms. Not the rhythms themselves, but the stuff that's going on around there. And so that's what I have here. The techniques are a little different and they're a little more advanced. And so I'm assuming you've watched the previous video where we talk about how to make sounds like that and sort of the emphasis of the beat. Next, we're going to go just a couple steps further, and I've already shown in another video, I'll link it in the description, on how to make these sort of buzzing sounds, because they're definitely used here. So I'm going to assume you know how to make those, that you've looked in the description and you know what that stuff is. The sounds I'm going to show you how to make. This sounds a little wild, but it's because I'm going straight into it. It's very interesting though. It sounds like this, and this part I didn't really do. This is the same as the last video, but this whole part here I incorporated panning and these sounds and some other things that are used there. Yep, it is crazy sounding, and there are different degrees of like complexity that he uses, so you may consider removing some of these elements to get a similar effect. That first part just, ooh, that groove's pretty good. So anyways, what's used here is we have these buzz effects. And what was really happening is that in Renoise, it's just a loop. I mean, it could be samples and stuff, but it's probably a loop. And they are re-triggering different slices of this loop at incredibly fast rates. And it creates these buzz rolls. And so I'm not sure what DAW uses. I'm just assuming. I should look it up one of these days. If anyone knows, drop it in the comments. It'd be kind of a curious thing to know. Maybe it's Ableton. I don't know. So the way I do this is, of course, I record really small loop playbacks. And then I will use that kind of a thing to create my rolls. Or I will micro edit. I use both. So I have here a micro edit. And the cool thing about a micro edit is you could change small snippets of it. So you get a sort of a very different approach to doing it. I do it again over here. Right here. And the reason I like it is because some of these are longer than others, and you can pan them differently. So that's another thing. So the way you get to create the atmosphere that he does with the rhythm, the rhythms fitting in the way they do, is first, these rolls are used to enhance, just a beat that was normally already there. So here I'm sort of using them for syncopation. But this one, that one lands right on, this one, I could even make it more on the grid. It lands right on, that beat. So it just makes that beat sort of, it sounds more complicated than it really is. And that's what you sort of seek to do with these, is you look to basically make your rhythm more ornate by putting these to enhance beats that were pretty regular before. So you see, this one is a pretty simple rhythm here. Now I can make it a little more complicated by doing something like that, and I just changed the speed of it, but I believe it was already unique. And see, that gave you a different effect, but if we stick to our just enhancing the normal beats, it sort of fits in a little more conventionally. So it depends on like how crazy you want to get. So yeah, that's one way. Well, not one way. That is basically what you do there. And the panning is very important. As soon as you throw the stereo image into this, you start throwing localization into it. And what gets really weird is when you try to make a beat out of space, like where a sound is. So it's like there, and you almost get this secondary sense of rhythm. I don't believe that's going on, but if you listen to that chicken sound during the song, it's going all over the map, just being panned everywhere, as is most of the stuff in here. So anyways, that's like the part 2. Hopefully this was what you were looking for. I showed you how to do all this crazy stuff in the previous video. Now, as far as this editing thing, again, that's covered in my breakcore videos and the drum and bass series. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, you just clone it and then you just start chopping and you overlay a bunch. You can do it pretty quick. Like say we wanted to do this one. We were like, hey, I want the roll. Whoops. Control Z, Shift M. I want the roll to continue right there, right? So let's say that, I want this part to be sort of a buzz roll. So you just, Shift Alt, click, and then let's say I want this, but I want it to be a little shorter. Na 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 na, like that. Oh, and then do this. So you get these overlaps too, are kind of interesting. Now we have this. Yeah, and so that's how you do that sort of thing. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe, support me on Patreon, and have a blessed day.
Watch out!